Zephyr pulled over to a particularly empty part of the Everfree Forest. He needed a particular place to talk to his guests, and it had to be this way. Calling for backup was going to be a joke. These guys were mercs, and they hit hard. Maybe CPD, SWAT, or whatever ECSD's equivalent might be up to snuff, but the attack was so well executed, and him nearly executed along with it, that it was obvious this was a pro operation. And anything other than ready troops was going to be nothing more than throwing bodies at the situation. So he was going to have to improvise. Generally, people didn't like it when he improvised. He got in trouble a couple times when he improvised, like in Oslo. The Charts of Affairs still wanted his head. Yeah, well, that's what I get for being so goddamn aloof. Even though he spent time in SOF, he knew he wasn't the Rambo Apple, kill 'em all and let someone else sort 'em out type. He was more of the trouble magnet type, either attracting it or causing it. Someone once called him Discord, as in the Roman god of strife. Zephyr in turn pointed out that the god was a goddess, Discordia, and now unless he was being compared to the rock star, then it made no sense. Just like now. He cauterized the wound earlier, thinking it was the easiest way to roll through the pain until he could seek medical attention. So far, the third bandage he put around it was bleeding, and his leg felt like shit, and he was bulldozing his way through the pain. Probably meant he was going to take it out on a siren he had captured, but oh fucking well. These bitches have taken both Solaire and Simmer. He'd grown close to them, far closer than was professional, but he didn't really give a damn at this point. His partner had been murdered. He was one step short of committing adultery, and even if he hadn't, his marriage was going to shit anyway. He wasn't in the mood for subtlety or symbolism. Logging over and popping open the trunk, he noticed a siren somewhere between pain and discomfort for being locked in the trunk. Deciding he could live with that, he pulled the girl out and threw her to the ground, making sure she landed face first. He then drew his pistol, cocking the hammer back, and looking at her with a glance somewhere between indifference and insult. Let's make this clear. You're not under arrest. We're well past that. The girl made to scream as soon as her gag. Seriously, he bent down and pulled it off. Sorry, wasn't aware you were going to speak. You're a dead man, you know that? He rolled his eyes. Do I look dead to you? I might hurt like a motherfucker right now. Instead of making his point, he winced, but still very much alive. Your condition, however, is debatable depending entirely on your cooperation. She spam. Get fucked! I'm a siren! I don't. The scream was due to the sudden but unexplicable bullet hole she had in her leg. Zephyr raised the gun once more. Now we could be twins, he said with a cruel smile. The twins always share, right? He pointed the gun to her head. So spill. I'm done with good cop, bad cop. Now we're going to bad cop, murderous cop. Fine, she snarled. You want to commit suicide that easily? HQ is in the construction area downtown. But we're armed to the teeth, and we got other things besides. Show up, you won't get a single foot on the perimeter before one of my sisters puts a bullet through your fucking head! He sighed dramatically. Well, I've never been too good at listening to directions, so I guess I'll just have to live through it all. But thanks for the info. He then looked at the late afternoon sky and wondered, so, what do I do with you? Just get over it, done with, asshole. I'm not afraid to die. And the sisterhood will avenge me. Defiant her bravado, she turned away from him. Just get over it, done with. No, he holstered his gun. That'd be taking the easy way out. You don't deserve that. Like I said, I'm not a murderer. So you're gonna live with your crimes, all of it. Betraying your fellow sirens by telling me where you're located, that you guys are armed to a bear, means I have to do things a little differently. He picked her up. No! She screamed. I said kill me! He ignored her, turning to her truck and slamming it shut. Kid, I said I wasn't a murderer. He told her through the close smell. Didn't say anything about being merciful. When he back to the car, he got back into the driver's seat and headed back towards Canterlot. He was going to have to wait until night. That was when he was done. He was going to hit that building like a goddamn ton of bricks. Stay safe until then, girls, he said silently. I'm coming. Meanwhile, Katana escorted the prissy bitch into the room, severing down to the metal chair. She knew who she was. The siren knew she shouldn't have given a damn. But the fact was, this whore was competition for Defiant's attention. And that was a distraction she could not afford. Never mind, he said he didn't want her any longer. The very fact that she was still alive very much indicated he still might. Even if something as remote as that was too much for Katana's liking. Now, are you going to tell me what I'm here for? She asked. That's not my job, Katana lied. Well, see, what Rada does put a bullet in her head and dump her somewhere for a carry-on. But again, it was their choice. But Define better not have plans for her that I don't agree with, the Siren Captain thought, or else he's going to meet with a little accident. I demand to see my daughter, she ordered, glaring Katana with a haughty look in her eyes. Katana knew said look so well. It was a look of authority and command, said by the sort of person that they were in absolute charge. You know, Vic, you could say it's Solaire. I think we know by now. And even a princess of a house of pretense had some sort of influence. Plus, she was a diplomat for the government that disposed her ancestor. So she had pull there. As Define had said, with some admiration, which annoyed Katana even further. She was a formal woman in her own right. But looking at her now, bruised and shaken, but still defiant, Katana could only see an enemy to put down at all costs. You are in no position to dictate anything, princess, Katana barked. You'll only answer as you are questioned. Are we clear? Solaire. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was Solaire. Didn't raise about the bait. I said, there is my daughter. Katana gave a glance to one of her troops. A fist came down hard across Solaire's face, drawing blood and nearly knocking her out of her seat. Next time, I won't be so kind, Katana warned. Oh, Katana dear, that will not do, a voice rang out, and as Solaire turned, blinking away the pain, she saw a face from her horrors, one she never thought she would see again. Define? She spoke, her words numbed with shock. He walked up to her, assertive and confident, carrying a glass of wine in his hand, an easy grin on his face. I see you remember me, dear cousin, and I see you already met my betrothed. He looked at Katana. I trust you to have bonded, my dear. She gave him a fed-up look. Can we just get to the point? She asked him. Another good time, my dear. Another good time, he said affably. Would you have one of your troops be so kind as to get some water for my cousin, as well as her daughter? We must show faith to our family, correct? Katana nodded silently and gestured to one of her troops. Meanwhile, Solaire continued to look at Define with absolute shock. What? How are you still alive? I heard you were killed in a boating accident. He took a sip of his wine and chuckled. Yes, and I hear the deaths of our other family members were accidents too. But I know better, of course. After all, accidents are much cleaner than murders. What? Solaire gasped, her eyes filled with shock at the presence of her cousin, whom she thought was dead, and now was confessing that he had something to do with Bathilde and Cornelia's deaths earlier this year. No, she whispered. That has to be a lie. Just then, one of the sirens returned with a bottle of water. Pass that to me, please. Taking it, he then walked over and handed it to her, his citrine eyes looking into her lilac ones. Oh, but this is very real, cousin, he told her. And now, you're going to pay the price not only for spurning my offers, but debasing yourself as a commoner and defiling yourself by having a spawn. What? She repeated, not believing what she was hearing. He sighed theatrically, then looked at Katana. I did try, you know. The record showed that I did try. Katana, already bored with this, rolled her eyes. So known for the logs. Thank you, dear. He then went over to a nearby table and set the glass on it. He returned to Solaire. Let me make things a little clearer, cousin. With that, he raised his hand, and a violet glow filled his hands while his eyes started emitting a sickly green energy. He lifted out of her chair violently by her neck before throwing her against the wall. This is getting pretty interesting, a siren behind Katana commented. Katana gave her subordinate a brief look before nodding in agreement. Solaire stared dumbfounded at her cousin, ignoring the pain. He had done something impossible. Was it even him? She never even really liked him. But he would kill her, replaced by a demon wearing a skin? so he wouldn't want that on anyone. Oh, I assure you, it's me, cousin, he told her as if hearing her thoughts. Well, Solaire would almost believe at this point. I have merely claimed the birthright of our father of fathers, what my ancestor of ancestors has graced us with. While you were laying with a commoner trash you were stupid enough to call your husband, I regained the power that is due to us, made it mine, and made the world my oyster. I will make everyone and everything in it my playthings, and I will be as a god. You're crazy, she told him. For it's old imbecile, these rules and the troop. And you're worthless, he spat at her. He snapped his fingers, and from around the corner, 2 guards came, dragging a very frightened teenager. Though Shimmer looked unharmed, the word was a relative thing. She was dressed in a white outfit, reminiscent of Greek pelpos, with a belt made from golden material. The fact she was just this way, and she was some temple virgin, seriously worried Solaire. If you humble, I swear divine, I will hurt you, Solaire growled. Oh, please, you couldn't hurt the fly, Katana said. But fortunately for you, we'll be nice. She turned to her subordinates. Let the girl go. Shimmer didn't need any further prompting. The woman desired as let her go, she dived into her mother's arms, sobbing. Mama, conhece que eu passei. Conhece que não volto no fé. She cried. The fool in my soul. Again, I feel like I'm killing the French language. Solaire held her daughter tightly as she also cried. Shh, mon petit tonneau. Everything will be okay. I promise. I promise. Don't make promises you can't keep, Divine daunted. And I assure you, this is one you won't keep. Because you two are family, I'll give you a minute alone. Please, let's leave you to the devices. Solaire glared at them all as they left the room, while she continued to hug her daughter protectively. Once they were gone, she brought Shimmer's face to hers. Did they hurt you? Are you okay? I'm okay, Sarah said, forcing down her fear. They didn't hurt me. What's going on? Why is Cousin Divine with those monsters? I thought he was dead. I don't know, Sunset. I suspect things are not what she thought they were, but I know this much. Divine said he killed Batir and Cornelia, your aunt and uncle. Is that true? The Azurka trains is the downfall of our family for some reason or another. I don't know how to stop him. What happened to Ace and Breeze? Is he okay? Solaire brushed Shimmer's hair down with her fingers to calm her down, or calm herself down. She wasn't really sure. I don't know. I hope so. So do I, Mom. He's a good guy. I hope we get to see him again. This is not to worry about that right now. Let's focus on how we're going to get out of this together, my dearest. Then we can worry about going to the police. And I think we had enough of that tedious talk, he said as he re-entered the room with the sirens in tow. Take our younger guest to the staging room. As for her older guest, well, she could join the others. Nodding to the 2 guards, Divine gave Solaire a cruel smile. Enjoy your last seconds with your daughter, Sunny. The eyes of the 2 captives went wide in panic as the 2 sirens began to pry them apart. Solaire and Shimmer tried to hold on to each other, but the katana stepped in, bashing Solaire against the side of her head with a rifle. As Shimmer screamed, the Solaire crumpled to the ground. Divine appeared indifferent to it. All on the surface, but his eyes was a grieful cruelty. He was enjoying this. Mom! Shimmer desperately reached out to her mother, her face a mask of panic and her eyes pinpricks of fear. Help! But all Solaire could do was rub her head, trying to press herself off the ground. Her face one of both shock and heartbreak as her daughter was forcibly dragged from the room. By the time Solaire had managed to regain some semblance of clarity, her daughter was gone. Sunset! Solaire screamed with the horror of the world. Dawn! She had forced herself to ignore the pain and blood dribbling down the side of her head. While all the hatred she could muster, she glared at him. Enfin, color, faudrait monter, laissez appétit! Sticks and stones, my dear cousin. Sticks and stones, Divine replied. In case you've forgotten, I'm the guy who has the girls with the guns. He didn't bend down before her, looked her in the eyes. I could have you killed in a second. There's nothing you could do about it. Slayer looked at her cousin with hatred in her soul. While she never really liked him, she did put up with him for family's sake. Now he murdered said family, there was no more real reason to tolerate him, save that he had her daughter. Please, Divine, if there's any humanity within you, you let my daughter go. She's innocent. She's not innocent. Divine laughed. Look at this nowadays. That crossed his mind. Those friends of hers that you used as a decoy, I bet she's having relations with at least one of them. Other friends? What are you talking about? Don't play stupid with me, Sarah. You've done enough of that for years. Do you think me an idiot? Send your daughter's friends down south to keep my forces off the trail? Well, it almost worked. Unfortunately for you, Captain Brass here has a world-class intelligence apparatus, and we were able to read out your fakes. I even hear your body double downstairs is a near duplicate. He grinned. Congratulate your plastic surgeon. He apparently seems to be a master of the art. Again, what are you talking about? Defied to the last, I see. Well, let's see how defiant you are when I am the master of this world, and you are my plaything. Well, at least that was my original plan. Instead, I intend to turn you over to my fiancée for further disposal. So as after upstairs attended, he said, well, I think we must prepare for the ritual. Katana, dear, please take her to meet up with her friends. We have a few hours left before we inherit the world, and the last thing we need running around here is a group of people that even remotely think they stood a chance of stopping us. Unfortunately, within a couple of hours I will have all that in hand. Until then, we don't need the authorities snooping around. Don't you agree? Yes, without a doubt. Plus, I want to make sure that once we raise our new tool, we keep this bitch alive. The look on Katana's face was monstrous as he turned back to Solaire. By this time tomorrow, the world will have new rulers. The most you can hope for in the New World Order is that I kill you quickly, as I certainly have no intention of that. Meanwhile, Sunset came back to consciousness, feeling someone tapping her. As she opened her eyes, she saw Adagio holding an In-N-Out bag in front of her face. You'll need to eat, she said. Chances are it's been a while. Thanks, Sunset replied, taking the bag gratefully. And thanks for changing our clothing back to something more normal. Adagio added, looking at her plain black t-shirt, cargo pants, and combat boots. Not quite regulation, but it would do for now. There was something uneasy in the teen's voice, Sunset noted, something he hadn't quite noticed with the confident girl she knew. Is everything okay? Sunset asked. I could have died. I should have died, Adagio intoned, staring blankly at the windshield. I could feel my vision tunneling, the pain fancy to a cold, numbing sensation. If it wasn't for my sisters, I would have just accepted it. She looked at Sunset, and for the first time in her life, Adagio Dazzle felt completely adrift. Why didn't you let me die? I deserved it! What do you mean you deserved it? Sunset asked. Dazi, you don't understand what kind of person I am. My sisters and I are. We've been trained since childhood to kill. I have killed already, and I'm not just talking today. I have blood on my hands, Sonny, and you saved me. Why? There was uncomfortable silence from the pair while they ate. Sunset finally asked, Where's Ari and Sonny? Adagio pointed outside the car where two sisters were sitting on a bench, both eating dinner and checking the weapons they had on hand. They looked completely focused on their job. Sunset had to wonder if it was either due to a need to prep weapons, or because the elders of the trip was asked them to. Nodding slightly, Sunset took a drink of her soda before continuing. You know about my past, right? Yeah. You used to be a bully, but then the girls conspired with an exchange student to show you up. As a result, you saw the light, right? Adagio popped a fry in her mouth. I wish it would have been that easy for the three of us. I don't think you understand, Daji. There's a lot more to the story than what we told you three. Well, that Sunset then went into everything. As he did, the look of confusion on Adagio's face just grew and grew, apexing as Sunset got to the part where she had been possessed by a demon, and that Princess Twilight and the others had saved her. And this was before she met the people that became her family. She then explained everything she'd done, including her return to Equestria, and up to the point where they had met. All this time, Adagio sat there, eating her dinner, and looking at sunset with both a shocked expression and studious eagerness. Do you know why I pulled us over? I thought it was important to sit down and eat while instead of out here on the road, because I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if we're ready. What? Sonny? The look in Adagio's eyes was one of worried. I think I just died, Sonny. Why did you bring me back from the dead? What? No, I don't have that type of power, Dazi. I don't think anyone has that kind of power. Not my mother, not... Wait. Are you telling me your family has magic as well? Adagio asked. No. I mean, my family back in Equestria. The mayor who was my mother. She's at a power level that makes me look quaint. Think of the difference between a match and a flashlight. Then of a flashlight in the sun. I'm probably the flashlight compared to the other unicorns, but... So you could see the concern rise on her friend's face once more. Since it stopped. Never mind. That's not important right now. What's important is that I need to go back to Camelot. I need to save the Dazi, and I need your help. I don't know if I can help Sonny. We have other sirens in Camelot who can, but I nearly bit the big one. I don't know if I have the courage to do this again. Everything else has just been training, just rote movements and muscle memory. But psyching yourself up for a battle after you had a few holes put in your heart? She turned away, not wanting to look at the flame-haired girl's eyes. Sunset reached down and took Adagio's hand in hers. I need you. All three of you. I need people who can stand beside me when I go save them. You know who these people are and what they can do. If what you told me is true, it's more than just my friends and family that are at stake here. Before Adagio could respond further, Sunset called out to the others, Hey Ari, Sonny, mind coming here for a second? Yeah, sure, Arya said, picking up the weapons and pointing in the bag. You two kids to meet up yet? Sanada asked. No, Pinky would probably get jealous. Sunset said offhandedly. Arya did chuckle and looked at Sanada. You owe me $5. Sanada cocked an eyebrow. For what? I told you Pinky had the hots for Sunny, but you didn't believe me. As I recall, you thought it was rarest. Sanada grumbled, fisted her pocket for a billfold, opening it and passed several ones to Arya. Okay, Sunset cut in. Now that that's done, I need to know something from you three, and I want the honest truth. Do you trust me? Sunset asked. Absolutely, Sunny, Sanada chirped. Yeah, sure, you know it, Arya added. Adagio was silent for the longest time, enough so until Sunny and Sanada asked, Sis? Yeah. Adagio finally said in a nearly soft voice, But I wonder if you still trust us, after all this. Especially after I'm admitting that I don't know if I can do this anymore. What? You're giving up? Adagio's response was to grab her sisters in a hug and start to cry. It was infectious, and soon all three siblings were in a group hug, crying for all they had lost and would never have, for the life they had chose, and what had to cut out their lives. Sunset stood there, watching the trio in their inner turmoil, feeling guilty about it all. She knew what had to be done. Saving her friends, her sister, and cousin was the only option. More so, if this defined right character had magic and was messing with things well above his pay grade, it would be disastrous for the world, even more so than her own issue had been. She brought up her magic, spellfire encircling her. On the second layer, to the surprise of the trio, a unicorn stood before them. This is the real me, Sunset said. Not a 17-year-old girl. A 30-year-old unicorn, a quadruped the size of a German shepherd. The next-door neighbor's dog is probably larger than me, truth be told. And as you see, in this way, I don't look fearless or intimidating. If anything, I'm at an extra risk, because ponies have an inborn fight or fight with nature that leads towards the left end of that phrase. I'm certainly nothing that would indicate anything brave or mighty. When I look at you three, I see my dear friends. 3 sisters who came into my life and enriched it, by being there and growing with us. Yes, things haven't been normal for you, and they likely haven't been for me either. I still struggle with being human on a regular basis, and I'm sure you struggle with acting like average girls. I want you to know something. We're all together in this. You don't have to be alone like I was, destroying everything out of childish stupidity. You have a circle of friends, a family, We'll be there for you, because that's what friendship is. Right now, our circle is sundered. The girls are a danger. My friends, my cousin, my sister, and who knows what else. You three girls are normal girls, but you are also soldiers. Technically you're sailors, Sanaa said, though Dazia saw her a silencing glance. Whatever. The point is, I need you. The girls need you. You three have abilities we need to save not just our friends, but possibly the world as well. And I am oath-bound to do this anyway, as the Archmages of Equestria. But even if I wasn't, I still fight, because my loved ones are in danger. And I cannot stand for them doing so. Not for 1 minute, 1 second, 1 instant more. If you three were among them I had to fight alone, I still would. Dachi, you told me that for the first time in your life you're afraid. I'm afraid every day. That both my family will find out what I am, that the world will find out. But I can't let that fear rule me. Because as someone has once said, is it my destiny? This is no accident. Adagio chuckled and started laughing, wiping the tears from her eyes. You would know that, wouldn't you? I don't get it. The words are from Adagio Dazzle. That Adagio Dazzle, Arya explained, referring to the pop star her sister was named after. It's for the title track of her album, Testament. Only reason I know is because the only Adagio album I have on my iPod. Sansa looked at the sisters and asked, we're all afraid what could happen to us if we fight. But that's nothing compared to if we lose. She stuck her hoof out. Will you join me? Not the strangest thing I've ever done in my life, Arya said, gently placing her hand on Sansa's hoof. Kept me in. Yeah, I could have lived with myself if I didn't do anything to save my friends, Sanaa added. That's because I had to tough up. The three of them looked at Adagio. Dazi? Adagio looked at Sunset. You do know your eyes are freakishly large, right? They're like squid eyes or something. Sunset rolled her eyes. Blame evolution for that one. Genetics are a relatively new field in Equestria, so no pony has any clue how it works. No pony? Dachi, you're getting on my nerves. Are you in or what? Dazio giggled and placed her hand on top. Someone has to keep you three out of trouble. Sure, count me in. Sunset backed up and changed back to her human form. As he did, Dazio's phone went off. Dazio looked at it and answered, This is Siren Rescue Actual. Go ahead. Yeah, we got her. She's safe. But her friends were captured. Yes, Lieutenant, I understand. Look, we did what we had to based on the information we had. It's on Sanaa's main laptop. You can check it for yourself. We'll be back as soon as we can. Stole a car fast enough to get us there on time. We just need to find a way to distract the cops. Dazio hung up the phone. Well, that was our sewers. They're waiting for us at Carolot. Then to Carolot we go, Sunset said. I think we have a lesson to teach someone. One long overdue. That is? The guy you said who thinks he's the most powerful magic slinger on the planet? He's about to learn what happens when you go up against a real master. Sunset puts their fists in a palm, and sparks are turquoise suffering them. And school is definitely about to be in session! Oh, hell yeah.